Patriots Nation, take a deep breath, because the vibe around Foxborough right now is different. You've got a young starter being slept on by the national media, a potential blockbuster move brewing in the background, a heavyweight fight at the top of the AFC, and a handful of names ready to explode down the stretch. None of this is exaggeration. Every detail could be the difference between hosting playoff games at home or flying into some icy trap on the road. You're not going to believe what we've got today, so get comfortable, hit that like button, and let's dive in. During this bye week, there's one thing bothering anyone who really watches this team: the lack of respect Will Campbell is getting. How is it possible that a rookie left tackle, a day one starter, protecting the blind side of an MVP candidate in an 11-2 season, is still treated like a background piece? Mike Vrabel knew exactly what he was doing when he walked into Foxborough. He inherited Drake May, but he understood one thing immediately. Without a real bodyguard on the left side, none of this would work. That's why the 4th overall pick became Campbell. The kid walked in, ignored all the short arms, narrow shoulders talk from the combine, stepped onto the Gillette Stadium turf like he already owned that side, and dominated. The offensive line found its identity with him in place. A lot of those long, methodical early drives started flowing right behind his side. Here's what really stings. He goes on injured reserve, has to miss a few games, and suddenly part of the national media acts like they forgot what he did. ESPN puts Campbell on their top 10 rookies list, but way down there, behind a right tackle. Nothing against Armand Membou, he's a really good player, but it's not the same job and it doesn't carry the same weight. A right tackle usually has tight end help, a chip from the running back, plays on the strong side. The left tackle is out on an island. If he messes up, your quarterback gets crushed. If he locks it down, nobody says a word. And it's not just about numbers. Campbell changed Drake May's confidence in the pocket. When you know your blind side is secure, you hold the ball that extra half second, you attack deeper routes, you trust yourself on 3rd and long. Every calm, clean drop back in this MVP campaign has Campbell's fingerprints on it. The run game tells its own story. New England has run more to the right, but imagine what happens when this offense really leans into Campbell's run blocking and starts attacking behind him. Defenses will have to respect both sides of the line, play action becomes deadly, and the attack turns into a nightmare for defensive coordinators. That's why this lack of hype might actually be the Patriots' secret gift. Let the league stay distracted. When Campbell comes back healthy, with this season on his resume, the conversation is going to flip to all rookie, early all-pro buzz, and that feeling that New England just locked down a critical position for the next decade. While everyone debates what's already working this season, another question hangs in the air. How high can this offense go if they finally land a true game-changing wide receiver? Drake May is already playing at an MVP level without having a truly dominant perimeter weapon. Imagine what happens if that changes. The buzz really took off when Justin Jefferson showed frustration after that ugly game in Seattle. 4 receiving yards, no interest in talking to the media, heavy energy everywhere. That set off alarms around the league. If it lit up radars everywhere else, in Foxborough it turned into a fire. Jefferson is the kind of talent that simply doesn't fall to you in the draft when you're picking late. Exactly where New England should be as long as May keeps playing like this. The idea of giving up 2 first-round picks sounds crazy at first, but slow down and think for a second. How many realistic chances do the Patriots have over the next 2 years to find a player better than Jefferson? One of the best wideouts in the league, in his prime at 26, battle-tested against every type of defense, and almost unguardable when he's locked in. That's where the philosophical dilemma starts. Mike Vrabel has been rebuilding this roster in a methodical, patient, almost old-school way. No wild swings, no panic trades. But he's never had the chance to drop a true offensive superstar into the middle of this system and complete the equation around May. The defense has structure. The offensive line has identity. The run game is gaining real traction. What's missing is that name that makes a secondary nervous before the ball is even snapped. So, is it worth breaking the philosophy for a player like this, or is passing on him the bigger mistake? If the Patriots have a real shot to put a historic talent next to a quarterback who's on his way to being historic, can you really just shrug it off? Now picture playoff games in Foxborough with Jefferson split wide, forcing the safety to back off, opening up crossers underneath, creating explosive play-action shots, turning checkdowns into easy money. Defensive coordinators would have to pick their poison on every snap. While talk about future weapons heats up, there's a battle happening right now. The fight for the top seed in the AFC. The margin for error is basically gone. The bye week gave this team a chance to rest, but it also made one thing clear. Every snap from here on out could decide whether New England hits the playoffs as the main character or as an easy wildcard target. The standings tell a story a lot of people outside Foxborough still don't fully grasp. The Patriots aren't just 11-2. They're playing disciplined, efficient, confident football. That win over the Giants briefly put them back on top of the conference, but Denver never slipped. They took care of business, grabbed the tiebreaker, and pushed New England back into the 2 seed. Without a head-to-head matchup, the tiebreakers turned into pure math. Overall record, conference record, performance against common opponents. Right now, Denver holds the edge, which means there's only one real path. Finish with a better record than the Broncos. No hoping for miracles, no depending on anyone else. Just win. Denver's schedule isn't a cakewalk. Packers, Jaguars, Chiefs, Chargers, but you can't sit around rooting against them when you've got Buffalo coming to town. The Bills just won, they're lurking, and that Week 15 showdown has turned into one of those games that makes Gillette Stadium shake. A classic hat and t-shirt game. Even if a loss there doesn't knock New England out of the AFC East race, the tiebreakers still lean their way. It could cost them that first-round bye. And that changes the entire vibe of January. One extra week of rest for May. A chance for Campbell to get back. The defense recharging. That's worth its weight in gold. Here's the part nobody talks about enough. New England still controls more of this picture than it looks. The Jets and Dolphins are on the schedule, both inside the division, both affecting tiebreakers. When the conversation is about the AFC East, the Patriot way has a habit of showing up at exactly the right time. And while fans are busy doing playoff math, there's another layer that might quietly decide how this final month goes. A handful of specific Patriots are on the verge of raising this team's ceiling. Most of them aren't the big-name stars the national media loves to highlight, but they might be exactly who decides big games. Start with Ramondre Stevenson. The temperature drops, the wind kicks up, Foxborough turns into a freezer, and every team planning on playing deep into January needs a workhorse in the backfield. After a rocky start with some ball security issues, Stevenson has rediscovered his identity. Physical, patient, brutal in short yardage. That changes everything for May. Play action becomes a real threat, linebackers hesitate, and throwing lanes open up. If he catches fire now, this offense gains a gear it didn't fully have. Then you've got Andres Borregales, who started the year under criticism after a few tough misses, but is turning into what a contender needs: a calm, reliable kicker. That 52-yarder against the Bills is still echoing. With winter taking over, every point is life or death. Don't be surprised when a playoff game comes down to his leg. Next is Kyle Williams. The box score doesn't scream superstar yet, but 2 plays changed how people look at him. The 72-yard bomb against Tampa and the 33-yard touchdown against the Giants. That's not luck. That's a pattern. A receiver who can separate, change speeds, and turn short routes into chunk plays. If he strings together a few consistent weeks, New England finally gets the true vertical threat this offense was missing. Then there's Vidarian Lowe. He stepped in under pressure, with the shadow of some rough tape behind him, but against the Giants he was rock solid. No sacks, no hits allowed, almost no panic snaps. He held it down while Campbell is out. If he keeps that level, the offense stays upright instead of crumbling on the edge. And finally, Cullivan Chason, maybe the most underrated defender on this roster. Sacks, pressure, energy, impact. He's playing for his next contract and attacking every snap like it might be his last. Quarterbacks feel him even on plays where he doesn't get the sack. So here's my question for you. Which one of these five is going to be the unexpected hero of the stretch run? Patriots Nation, after everything we've talked about, it's clear we're staring at a closing stretch that can redefine the Vrabel era. A left tackle the media keeps overlooking, a possible all-in swing for a superstar, a wild race for the top of the AFC, and five names ready to explode when it matters most. It's the mix of talent, pressure, and opportunity every franchise dreams about. Now it all comes down to how this locker room responds when the clock gets tight and the lights get brighter. Who's going to be the spark that pushes New England all the way back to the top? Hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and stay with us every step of the way.